kind of
Accepted.
here's the mission, and, I'm sorry?
Kind of just accepted the mission.
Okay. Pretty serious mission to just accept.
I don't,
What do you make of the fact that you just accepted a mission of that seriousness? Once again, you're a smart guy.
I didn't think it was all that serious.
Tell me about that. I didn't think it was all that serious. When you've bought the tear gas, you bought the Glock at that point.
Yeah, I didn't think of the consequences through.
Of which consequences?
Of completing the mission.
So you're at the beginning of actually carrying out physical things related to the mission.
Right, ordering the weapons.
Are you saying that you didn't really think the mission was going to come to fruition? Or is that not what you're saying?
I just didn't know. I was preparing for it.
Okay. As you got items, did you have any particular feeling or experience once the item was gotten?
Well, I formed an attachment to it, learning how it worked, practicing with it.
Okay. And I guess I'm asking, it sounds like you're saying there was a pressure or a pretty strong, maybe impulse is not the right word, to get the tear gas canisters, to get the Glock. After you had gotten it, was there any change in that pressure or that push?
No, it just kept escalating to get more and more weapons.
Okay. So getting the weapon didn't satisfy the, let me say, thought.
Correct.
Okay. And I'm not sure I'm conveying that very well, but let me just ask you, what do you think I'm asking, so we kind of get on the same page?
Were the weapons kind of fulfilling the mission on their own?
I'm sort of, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. And I'm probably not articulating it very well. Often we have you use the phrase obsessive compulsive. If I have a compulsion to check the door, make sense?
Right, people check it over and over again.
Yeah. Once I check it, the strength of the compulsion goes down for a little while. Does that make sense? I've satisfied the compulsion.
You don't need to check it for a while.
Okay. And it may be for a second, it may be for a minute or a day, but carrying out the act relieves the pressure for a while. I'm curious as to whether you experienced anything like that.
I would say yes, because I didn't buy all the weapons at one single time. I kind of paced through it, going from compulsion to compulsion.
Okay. And you use the word escalation. How does that fit in this kind of thought?
Well, getting a shotgun is an escalation from just a handgun.
As you got more of the equipment, and you mentioned You didn't use the word fascination, I don't think, but attachment, that's the word you used. Tell me about the attachment.
Well, as I got familiar to the gun, I became attached to it.
How did you get familiar with it? What was that process like?
Just taking it apart and assembling it again, seeing how it worked.
So you did that?
Yeah.
With each of the things that you got, or in certain particular ones?
Most was with the handgun.
Okay. I guess there are different levels of stripping a gun.
Right, I wouldn't take it down to the factory kind of assembly part, but I would just do the basic assembly system.
Did you get pretty good at it?
Well, there was no reason really to get very good at it, but I could take it apart and put it back together again. Yeah.
Okay. Not many people can do that, particularly people that aren't familiar with weapons.
Well, I wasn't disassembling it to its base state or anything.
Okay. Okay. Do you recall what the next things that you bought were?
I think it was a shotgun.
Okay. And where did you get that? Locally or online?
I ended up getting everything locally. It was at Bass Pro Shops, I think.
Was there any problem acquiring those different kinds of firearms and ammunition, etc.? Any problem?
They had it listed on their kind of checkoffs list that people who are mentally ill can't buy them. But I guess you have to be committed to an asylum or something to be termed mentally ill in their words.
That wouldn't have presented a problem for you, right?
I thought it might be a problem.
In what way did you think it might be a problem if you'd never been in
I thought that Fenton and Feinstein may have diagnosed me as mentally ill, and then I wouldn't be able to buy the guns.
And the first time you went to see Fenton or Fenton, first it was Roth. And
Right.
then Fenton, what was the earliest you saw them?
I don't remember the month. It was before I started buying the weapons.
Okay. And you thought maybe you were in some database or some record or something like that?
Right, it was a possibility.
Did it turn out to be a problem?
No. So I could order the gun and get it basically an hour later.
How much ammunition did you buy at the time?
I buy it in bulk, so thousands and thousands.
Mostly local or mostly online?
Online.
Okay. Was that ever a problem, ordering bulk ammunition?
Nope.
Okay. What else did you buy?
Assault rifle.
Semi-automatic?
Yep.
Did you try to convert it?
No, I didn't have the knowledge to convert it to automatic.
Okay. Did you think about it?
I thought about buying an automatic, but there was a law that said after a certain date, you can only own the automatic weapons you have. You can't buy new ones in the States.
Did you think about conversion kits?
No, I didn't, because I thought that would be too technical.
Okay. What else did you buy?
Another handgun.
And what kind this time?
Glock 23, also 40 caliber.
Okay.
And I bought body armor, kind of interspersed with all this stuff too.
So you have two Glock 23s. I misspoke earlier. I said 22, but
No, the first one was a Glock 22.
The first one was a Glock 22.
And the second one was a Glock 23.
What's the difference between a 23 and a 22 for the same caliber?
The 23's got a shorter barrel, I think. So they're almost essentially the same.
At around that time, did you have any picture in your mind of what you would look like using those weapons?
Yes. When I took a picture of me holding the weapons, wearing the body armor.
Tell me about that.
I don't know why I took them. I just took them. Just to be remembered or something.
To be remembered.
Yeah.
What were the pictures like?
Typical camera phone selfie pictures.
Okay. To be remembered. What will people looking at those pictures think or see when they see those pictures?
You'd have to ask them.
No, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Okay. I think they would remember it because they're kind of unusual pictures.
And what do they think about the person in that picture?
That they're familiar in the ways of weaponry and body armor.
Familiar in the ways of weaponry and
Body armor.
body armor, okay. Anything else that they infer from the picture?
Not that I can think of.
What might they infer from the picture?
That I'm a killer, I guess.
Okay. So we started out with being remembered, and some of the inferences are, this is a person who knows how to use it, and this is a person who's a killer. Any other inferences from the pictures that a person might have?
No.
I just happen to have the pictures. I think I do. And what I'm going to ask you is, what do you infer from the pictures? I thought of it. Describe for me one of the pictures, can you?
I'm wearing the bulletproof coat with a tactical vest over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing the possession contact lenses.
Okay.
And holding a gun.
And holding a gun. And they're in color.
Yeah.
I mean, all pictures nowadays are in color, black and white. It's very passé, I suppose. Here we go. See if I've got the one you're referring to. You know, I don't have the one of you in the armor. Tell me again things that you infer from the picture of you in the armor. With which weapon is it that you're holding?
I don't think I was holding one. Or if I was, it was the assault rifle.
Okay. Tell me again what you just said about the inferences you would make when you see that picture.
Well, they're the same as inferences I think other people would make.
And they are.
This is a guy who's familiar with these things, and this is a killer. What a killer looks like.
At the time you took the pictures, was that a guy who was familiar with these things?
I would say basic knowledge-wise, yeah.
Okay. At the time you took the pictures, was this a killer? This is what a killer looks like. Is that what that was?
That's what I thought.
Tell me more about thinking of James Holmes as a killer who knows what he's doing.
What else is there to tell?
How does it feel to be that person when you took the picture? Not today, but when you took the picture, how did it feel to be that person? Or were you trying to convey that and didn't really feel it? I don't know.
I didn't feel anything. It was just taking a picture.
You didn't feel anything when you were taking the picture?
Right, except that I would be remembered by those pictures.
Okay. There's a little disconnect. Do you feel a disconnect about, I didn't feel those things, but I wanted to convey, but I knew that those things would be conveyed? Does that make sense?
A little bit.
Okay. What might it have been about the way you were then that you wanted to convey that even though you didn't feel it?
I'm not sure how to answer that.
It might have been a bad question.
Okay.
But sometimes, very often in fact, people want to convey to others something different from what they really are or what they think they are. People want to look better, they want to sound better. They spin up a tale to tell strangers on a bus that's different from the way they really are. You ever
Right.
do that? I'm sorry?
So I don't think that's like an accurate depiction of who I am. It was just a moment, capturing of the moment.
Okay. Did you take other pictures?
Yeah,
All at the same time or over time?
over time.
Okay. Over roughly how much time?
A month maybe.
A month, maybe. Other selfies, other pictures of the weaponry? Is that what we're talking?
Pictures of the movie theater entrances and exits.
Okay. Focusing right now on you, pictures of you, pictures of the weaponry, pictures of things in your apartment. Those were over a month or so?
No, those were pretty much the day of and a couple days before, I think.
Okay. Here's one of the pictures that I've got. That one. Remember that one?
Yep.
Tell me about the guy in that picture.
He definitely doesn't look normal.
Tell me more.
He looks scary.
More.
I wouldn't want to run into him.
He's not the guy that thugs should mug?
Yes, that's true. He looks more like a thug.
Oh, he looks like a thug. Okay. Tell me
Not
more.
a typical thug.
Not a typical thug.
No.
What kind of thug does he look like?
Crazy thug.
Okay. Go into that a little, will you? More.
I don't know how.
Okay, it's a guy, you're holding one of the Glocks. You don't have a beard.
Yeah, I'm clean shaven before I got to jail because I don't have good razors in jail.
Is that why you started growing the beard?
That's why I grow the beard, yeah, because I can't shave.
It's not as convenient to shave.
The shaving doesn't work.
Tell me about the red hair on the guy.
I'd had that for a while. Like that. It's artificial.
Any particular reason that you dyed your hair a while before that? People dye their hair all the time, sure.
I think to stand out, I guess.
Okay. To stand out in what way? What's the thought?
To stand beside normalcy. To be like, exotic, I guess.
Ben had dyed his hair around that time, as I recall, right?
I think so. His wasn't quite as exaggerated as.
Okay. Had you ever dyed your hair before?
No.
Why'd you pick red?
I thought it would look better than green or blue.
Okay. And you mentioned the contact lenses. Tell me about the contacts.
Well, those just happened to arrive on the day of the shooting. Otherwise, I would have taken the pictures beforehand on like whatever day they arrived.
Okay. I've never noticed it before. Are those contacts tinted a little red, or are they black?
They're solid black.
They're solid.
They cover
solid.
the sclera with black.
Okay. How well can you see through those?
Not at all, because my contacts, my normal contacts, are prescription.
Okay. How opaque are they, or translucent, or transparent?
Oh, well, they have the hole where the retina is, so you can see. But I can't see because because it wasn't prescription contacts.
Okay, you're a little nearsighted. You're about
Right.
a -4.5 or something like that, myope, aren't you?
I don't remember.
Okay. So these particular cosmetic contacts have a little pinhole in the middle to look from through.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Interestingly, that might serve to focus on the retina if it's a pinhole, mightn't it? Probably neither here nor there.
I don't know.
I'm assuming that you weren't wearing those contacts at the theater. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Why? Any particular reason that you ordered them?
I thought they looked cool.
Okay. And they arrived just the day of the of the incident, or the day before, the day before the night that you went in.
Right.
Okay. That reminds me of something else I was going to ask. There were a number of things that you ordered that arrived kind of at the last minute, on the last day or the day before the last day. Were you worried that some of that stuff wouldn't arrive?
What kind of stuff are you talking about?
I'm trying to think which things, but the delivery time on some of them was within a day or a few days of the incident.
Yeah, well, I'd had my mind set on the Batman premiere of when it was going to happen. So I guess I kind of got squeezed for time a little bit.
Were you worried that they might not all arrive in time?
No, I think pretty much everything arrived before.
Good old Amazon.
Yes, good shipping.
Another picture. Tell me about this guy in this picture and what it conveys.
Well, that was like the incendiary device that I made. And I was kind of blowing out the fuse.
You were blowing out the fuse.
Yeah.
Is that you weren't? The fuse was not lit, and you were blowing it. But is that why
Right.
the lips are pursed, as if you are blowing
Yes.
out the fuse?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the expression on that guy's face? What's that guy thinking or wanting to convey or infer?
I don't know.
What do you think? And I get a similar feeling myself anyway from this one as well. What's that?
What feeling are you getting?
Yeah. What feeling are you getting?
Just that you want to stay away from them.
Okay. One of the things that comes to my mind, maybe I'm just odd, is impish.
Impish?
Impish.
What does that mean?
As an imp, there's a certain dangerous quality, but a light-hearted dangerousness. A smiling. That's not a good way to put it. Maybe like a little devil. An imp is a little devil.
Okay.
Does that resonate at all, or is that just me?
Well, I don't know where the little part comes in.
Okay. Then a devil. A devilish look.
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. It looks a little devilish.
Okay. With regard to Batman, I guess I think of the Joker. He's not little.
He's the one who dyed his hair green. I think.
Did the Batman story have anything to do with your choosing the Batman premiere? Or not?
The main reason was because I knew it would be a blockbuster hit, so there'd be a lot of people there.
There are other blockbuster hits. This is a really big blockbuster and fills the auditorium.
Right.
Do you think, in retrospect, that there was anything non-coincidental about your picking that blockbuster instead of Avatar or something?
If it was unconscious.
You've tried to figure out unconscious things before. What do you think?
That it bears some resemblance.
Okay. Do you think the resemblance is coincidental?
I'm not sure.
There's a similar selfie. That might be the one I'm thinking of. And that's this one. You remember that one?
Yep.
Tell me about that one. What's that guy?
It also looks devilish.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Anything make it look additionally devilish to you?
Tongue sticking up.
Okay. What about the tufts of hair on the side?
Kind of like horns.
Is that on purpose, do you think? Or was it on purpose?
I don't remember doing it on purpose.
Okay. Because I agree with you, there is an impression of that adds to the devilish thought. And I was wondering whether you did it on purpose.
Intended or not.
Beg your pardon?
It was intended or not.
Yeah. And your answer is?
I don't think it was intended.
Okay. This picture also has the tongue sticking out. Tell me about the tongue sticking out.
I don't know. People stick out their tongues.
They do? How about that tongue? Anything interesting about that tongue?
Just that it's my tongue.
It's your tongue.
Yeah.
Anything interesting or unusual about your tongue?
No, it's just perfectly normal tongue.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Bible? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything about tongues in the Bible that comes to mind that might be relevant to that picture?
No, nothing.
Okay. There's a part of the Bible, and tell me if this starts to resonate with something that you know, and it may not, that talks about the shape of certain people's tongues. There are some people who can, I think the biblical phrase has something to do with lap water like a dog, and other people who can't. Dogs lap water because they can cup the end of their tongue. Or that's the
my
way.
tongue was cupped in.
Yes, then, and any. Does that?
I didn't know any of the Bible stuff about it.
Okay. So as far as you recall, that's not part of. You didn't look at your tongue in a mirror and say, "Gee, I'm part of the group that the Bible speaks of who can lap water like dogs."
No.
Okay. And by the way, I don't think there's anything inherently good or bad about that. By the way, my tongue does the same thing.
Okay.
You took pictures here. How about that one? Tell me about this one.
That's a picture of all the equipment I bought.
When was the picture taken?
I think it was the day of.
Okay. Tell me about the thought and the purpose in that picture.
That was just to show that I could buy all that stuff and nobody would notice.
Mm-hmm. Anything else about that picture that a person looking at it might infer or feel?
That it's dangerous. That it's a lot. It's almost like overkill.
Okay. By the time you got to the theater and got out and put it on, you were pretty much wearing everything in the picture. Right?
Pretty much so, yeah.
Okay. Anything important about the color of the sheets, of the sheet?
I have two pairs of sheets, kind of silky red and a silky black.
Okay.
And if it would have been black, you wouldn't have been able to see as well.
Okay. Why'd you pick silky black and silky red sheets, by the way? I'm curious.
I thought they looked good.
Good.
Yeah.
Tell me about, these were in your apartment. That reminds me to kind of ask, tell me about your apartment.
Was 800 square feet, I think. Complete kitchen. I don't know, it was a good apartment. It was close. It was right next to the Anschutz Medical Campus.
And that's where your classes and labs were?
Yeah.
On the Anschutz Medical Campus. Okay. So you didn't have to drive?
Right,
You
I could just walk or ride my bike.
Okay. You did ride a bike sometimes. Did you ride the bike a lot? Or?
I would ride it every day to work and back.
Okay. Bring it up to the apartment at night?
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty good bike, or?
Oh, I've had it for years and years.
Okay. As a place to live, in your apartment's a personal place. Where people live is a personal place. What was it? How was it personal to you? Or how did you make it personal to you?
I guess by changing the lighting.
How'd you change the lighting?
I put like red bulbs in the lights.
In all of them or some of them?
Some of them.
Okay. Roughly when did you do that?
Towards the end of graduate school, I'd say.
We're talking
Like
May?
June, I think.
In June, okay. Any particular reason that you personalized it with red light bulbs?
Other than I just thought it looked nice.
Okay. At that time, did you know or anticipate or plan that the police would be coming to your apartment?
I figured they would go to the apartment on a noise complaint.
Okay. Did the red light bulbs have anything to do with what people might find when they
No, that didn't
open
have
the door?
anything to do with it.
Okay. I'm curious which outlets were or which lights were the red light bulbs in?
Just the lamp, I think.
A lamp. Okay. Well, how else did you personalize your apartment?
I had my own plant. Water that guy every day.
Okay. What kind of plant?
I don't know.
Just a plant.
Just my plant.
Just your plant. Did you name your plant?
Plant D.
Okay. How else did your apartment look while you were living in it over the months or couple of years?
Clean.
You kept it clean? Okay. What else?
Messy too, because I kind of kept all my clothes on a section of the floor.
Okay. On a section of the floor?
Yeah, so it had its own spot. Because I would use all the drawers for other things.
Okay. For other stuff?
Yeah.
So this is the section for shirts or something like that?
Or just laundry.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said you use the drawers for other things, like what?
Storing papers, notebooks and stuff.
Did you have anything on the walls?
Yeah, I had posters.
What were the posters of?
I had a Pulp Fiction poster, Samuel Jackson, and what's his name? I don't remember. Oh, John Travolta.
Which poster was Pulp Fiction? I can picture the content, but you might tell me, what was the content of the Pulp Fiction poster?
It was in the scene where they busted the drug runner guys, and the guy had shot at them like 20 times and missed every single time. And then they pointed their guns at him.
And what did he do when they pointed their guns at him?
Well, he got shot.
Okay. How about the Samuel Jackson poster? What was the content of that?
That is the poster.
Oh, that's the same, I'm sorry, the same scene. What other things did you have on the walls?
I had one of those motivational posters that said like, challenge, take your shot. It's a shot of whiskey or something.
Okay.
Probably not a good alcoholics poster.
What else did you have on the wall?
I had a movie poster of Anchorman.
Okay.
I like that movie.
Yeah, the comedy. Yeah.
I had a Zombie Brains poster.
Okay. Anything else?
I think I had a poster of a model on the wall.
Tell me about the model poster.
Well, she was scantily clad,
How scantily, and what was the model doing?
lying there kind of teasingly.
Okay. Okay, what else?
I had a poster of why guys always leave beer on the bottom shelf of the fridge, and a girl bending down to get the beer.
That poster was actually on the door to the fridge, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's why
Okay.
I kept it there.
Okay. Did you keep much alcohol in the apartment?
Yeah. So I will supply the.
How much, say, was in the apartment in July?
I think there was like a case of Coors Light and 2 bottles of liquor.
Okay. How much would you drink in general over the months?
I usually drink socially, and so I bring some of the beer with me.
Okay. Different people mean different things when they say socially.
Over dinner with friends.
And we talked, I think, about drinking yesterday a little bit. Drink very much when you were by yourself in the apartment?
No, not really.
As you were getting ready for this event, to the July 20 event, did you drink very much?
No.
Okay. What else is in the apartment?
My computer. Just basic furniture, my TV.
Okay. Gargi came there from time to time when you all were dating, when you were in the relationship?
Yeah.
Would you usually go to your apartment or her apartment? Or her place?
Before she broke up, it was usually like half and half. But then after we got back together, it was all my apartment.
What was her place like?
A little messier than mine.
Apartment or house?
She shared an apartment with another gal.
Nearby? Or no.
Yeah, it was nearby.
But not the same building?
Like, it was like 5-minute drive.
Okay. You were in an apartment building.
Yeah.
Who else lived in the apartment building? Did you
Other
know
students and nurses.
primarily or exclusively? Or?
Primarily. I didn't get to know them like at all, basically.
Did you see them coming in and out?
Yeah.
Doing laundry and things like that?
Yeah, I saw them in passing.
At the time, did you know their names? Any of their names?
No.
There wasn't a single person who lived there whose name you knew?
Well, they had their names on the mailboxes, but I didn't memorize them or get to know them or anything.
Were you ever in anyone else's apartment in your building?
Nope.
Was anyone else who lived in the building ever in your apartment?
Nope.
Okay. Any particular reason?
No, not really. It wasn't a very social apartment. Kind of everybody had their own rooms.
Okay. You mentioned the posters on the walls and the scantily clad young woman. There's another selfie that was on your phone of you with a woman right behind you. Do you remember that one? That picture?
That's the scantily clad woman.
Was that the scantily clad
Yeah.
poster? Okay. I got to tell you, the first time I saw it, I didn't know
It was a poster.
that it was a poster.
Okay.
Tell me about that picture and when you took it and
I don't remember the conditions.
Okay.
I'll mention it.
so far as you know, roughly when was it in the course of all this?
I think it was June as well.
Okay. If I were, I don't have a copy of it here. If I were to show it to you, what would you say about the guy in that picture?
I wouldn't be noticing the guy. I would be noticing the gal.
Okay. When you took the picture, it looks very much like you meant to have it look a certain way, with her resting a head on your shoulder or looking over your shoulder close to you. Looks like it was purposely framed that way. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's fair to say.
Okay. Was the picture manipulated at all, or were you just standing by the poster?
I think I was just standing in front of the poster.
Okay. That doesn't say much about my powers of observation, does it?
No.
So, if the picture was framed that way on purpose, what does that framing convey to somebody or imply to somebody who's looking at the picture?
That I'm desirable.
Can you say more about that?
No, not really.
Did you ever look at the picture very much yourself?
No, I kind of took it that one time and then forgot about it.
What might you have been thinking when you took it? Speculating, I know.
I don't know.
Were you a pretty desirable guy in January, February, March, April, May, June of 2010? Or 2012, rather?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. There were two women that wanted to hang out with you, at least.
Yep.
Okay. Did you think or feel that you were a pretty desirable guy at the time?
No, I kind of felt that would make me more desirable, seeing you. with someone like that.
You think you wanted to feel more desirable yourself?
Probably, yeah.
I don't want to just feed you answers, because then I just get back what I get from a mirror.
Yep.
But I'm wondering whether you needed some help feeling desirable or good or competent or positive things about yourself.
I don't know if you can surmise all that from the one picture, but I was trying to feel desirable.
What's going on inside your mind that you are trying to feel desirable?
Well, just because I'd broken up with my ex-girlfriend.
But around that time, and we're not sure exactly when the picture was taken, I guess, around that time, you had rebuffed her, and you had rebuffed Hillary.
Right.
Now, the reason you gave, at least with regard to Hillary, was that you didn't want her to end up being the girlfriend of a murderer.
Right.
Am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about wanting to be desirable after that.
Well, not wanting to be alone. Wanting to start another relationship.
Were you a pretty lonely guy?
No, I feel best when I'm alone, I would say.
You feel best when you're alone.
Yep.
But a few minutes ago, you said that there were times when you didn't want to feel alone, or didn't want to be alone or feel alone, one or the other.
Right.
And by the way, these aren't black and white things. They can blend and they can come and go. At times, were you a pretty lonely guy?
No, because I don't usually feel lonely when I'm alone.
Since you've been arrested, have you felt lonely?
Yes, just because of the sheer amount of being alone for 2 years.
It's an enormous amount of being alone for 2 years. It's absolutely enormous.
Yep.
Has your sister deserted you?
Nope. She and I are both kind of living separate lives, but she still cares about me.
Please correct me, but I don't think she's contacted you once except for being with your parents when they visited in 2 years. Is that accurate?
I can't remember if she wrote a letter or not, but she certainly doesn't do it like every week or month.
Think she's written you any letters?
I don't remember if she has.
Let me ask it again. Has your sister deserted you? Abandoned you?
Nope.
Where's the evidence that she hasn't abandoned you?
She came with my parents on the visit.
Does that strike you as pretty scant evidence for 24 months?
Well, my parents only were allowed to visit twice, so that being one of the times,
And that's not their fault. They were only allowed those visits. That's my understanding. But they've written you scores of times.
That's just the relationship dynamic between me and my sister.
When you were describing your sister yesterday, She loved her big brother. She was looking up to her big brother. She helped her big brother dig a hole in the sand and fill it up with water. Real typical younger sister, older brother stuff.
Yep, now the situation is not so typical.
There are people who don't even know you who write to you and send you pictures.
Yeah.
And your sister doesn't.
I don't see a problem with that.
Do you see anything unusual? Do you see anything that doesn't, I'm not sure how to phrase it without using triple negatives. It wouldn't take much for her to send you a damn postcard.
Right, but I'm not demanding it of her or anything.
Okay. Have you abandoned her?
Well, I haven't written her either, so it goes both ways.
Have your lawyers asked that you not write to people?
That was kind of a stance I took early on, just to be on the safe side.
On the safe side with regard to?
Because all the letters are recovered and can be as admissible as discovery.
Okay. So it's logical and natural that lawyers recommend that people not write, or that they be very careful what they write pre-trial.
Right.
I understand that part.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's stopping me from writing her.
Exactly. Thank you. Exactly my question. Absent that, would you be writing to your sister?
Probably not, because I don't have much to talk about. There's books I'm reading and TV I'm watching, and that's about it. So.
Absent that, would you be writing to your parents?
I would probably write to my mom, just because she writes so often.
Okay. So far as you know, have any of the friends that you had, Ben, Tim, Gargi, Hillary, anybody else, have they written to you or tried to write to you?
Not that I know of, no.
What do you speculate, and it would be pure speculation, what do you speculate they think about you now?
They're probably moving on with their own lives, and mine's not interspersed with them.
Right. What do you think they think of you now? Think about you, that's better put. What do you think they think about you?
That I was a good friend.
Okay. What else? When somebody says to them, James Holmes, what does that bring up in their mind now?
That they knew me before I was the incident.
Before you were?
Before the shooting incident.
Okay. You started to say something else. Before I was blank. What were you going to put in that blank?
Mentally ill. Like outright showing mentally ill.
What feeling do you think they might have toward you, or feelings do you think they might have toward you?
They probably want to distance themselves from me so they don't get lumped in as related to a killer.
That's close, but not quite what I asked. What do you think their feelings are toward you?
I think they care about me still. I'm not sure.
Okay. Mom and Dad, feelings toward you?
Warm feelings.
Okay. Sister, feelings toward you?
Just still warm feelings.
Okay. And that's an inference, not based on data, right? That's an inference.
That's my assumption.
Or assumption, okay. Okay. Is there any chance that your friends would be really pissed at you
No, I don't think so at all. Unless it interfered with their lives, like the press interfered with their lives.
Any chance that they might be disgusted by you?
No, I think they'd be supportive.
How about Sis? Any chance that she might be disgusted or repulsed or angry or have any real negative?
She certainly didn't show it in the visit. She was my typical sister.
Okay. What do you think the public feels? And they don't know you. They know the incident based on the media. That's all they know. What do you think their feeling is? Or feelings?
Dislike, I would say.
Anything else?
Misunderstood.
Okay. How do you mean that? Tell me more about misunderstood.
Well, they don't have the full picture of my life and what's happened.
Are you aware of, in general, the media coverage and stuff like that?
Yeah, we have a TV, so I can see some coverage on the news.
So you're pretty much up on how the media treated this incident, how the media has treated you, or no?
No, I'm kind of sheltered from that, I think.
Okay. Who shelters you?
Just not having computer access or internet access.
Do you have TV access? The lawyers talk with you frequently. Do they talk about public reaction at all?
No, not really.
Does anybody at the jail, the custody people, mention public reaction at all?
Like guards? Or?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
But occasionally inmates call things out, as you said yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, that's primarily negative. Some are supportive, but it's definitely on the fewer side.
Did you see any TV coverage? Of course, the most coverage comes in the first week or two, doesn't it?
Right.
But you did have out time when you had access to TV. Do you recall any TV coverage at that time?
They're memorializing the victims.
Did any of the coverage refer to you?
Well, it was just like refer to me as the theater gunman or whatever.
Okay. Is that the guy in these pictures?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Is the theater gunman similar to the guy that you see in these pictures, or different from the guy you see in these pictures?
Akin to those in the pictures.
Okay. So your access to news on TV is not particularly filtered. I'm sure they choose the channel or choose certain channels.
I usually don't choose to watch the news.
The news. After the event, do you remember choosing to watch the news?
That was a long time ago, but I saw some news on it.
Was it of interest to you? Do you remember or not?
Yeah, I found it interesting to just see the different perspective.
Do you remember how you felt as you watched the various news stories?
Mainly that they get a bunch of stuff wrong, I think. Or biased.
What sorts of things in general would they get wrong, or would they be unduly biased about?
I'm not sure.
Speculate for me. What? I know it was 2 years ago, but it was a real big day in your life, a real big week in your life.
Yep.
So you just said they got stuff wrong and they were biased. I'm asking what's in general that they got wrong or what they might have been biased about.
Well, they didn't take it from my perspective, I think, on the mentally ill perspective.
Okay. If they had, what would they have been reporting? What would they have been saying?
Kind of of psychological reasons for why it happened the way it did and everything.
Anything else? Maybe that relates to your word misunderstood. Anything else about misunderstood?
No, not really.
Okay. This afternoon, I'd like to do a little bit more about your apartment.
Okay.
Interesting place, especially when you left.
Yep.
I'd like to learn more about that. Anything that you'd like to ask me, or
No,
anything that I didn't ask today?
no, it's okay.
We'll continue this afternoon about 2, okay?
All right.
Thanks again. There we go.
Oh, man.
Okie dokie.
We're tired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll come back about 2 o'clock. We'll need a little bit of setup time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Do you need anything else?